Alright, hey guys, Bezmor again, and I promised a genie vid, and this is actually my second time trying to make it because I made the first genie vid and it was like a half hour long, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, I can't talk about all this stuff. So I've trimmed down what I'm going to talk about, and if you guys have any specific questions or questions about stuff that I don't cover, you can leave it in the comments, send me PMs, do whatever, and I will try to cover that. There's no gameplay in this because it's a genie vid and I don't need to be in game to show you the important things. So anyways, first thing I guess to talk about would be which of the 4 genies you want to choose to have as your genie, and yes, it makes a difference. Why? It makes a difference because of this table right here. This is the PWI Wiki Genie page. Choosing a genie, I guess is kind of self-explanatory. Bottom line, when you're building a genie, there's 4 stats, strength, dex, vite, magic, and they all affect stuff, right? Strength and dex make skills do different things more effectively. Vite means how much energy your genie has available, so you can use more skills at once if you have a lot of vite. Magic means how fast it recharges. Now, there are a few skills out there that really do have a lot of energy requirement, and that's the kind of stuff you need vite for. Or you can get a ton of cheaper ones and then have a lot of vite and use, a bunch of skills at once, or stuff like that. And I was gonna talk about all the classes one by one and like what kind of stuff you should do, but then I realized that just takes way too long. So I'm talking about psychics specifically, since that is kind of what I do. If you're curious about other class genies, send me a PM. I will do my best. I'm not qualified in all classes to answer that question, but I will try. So anyways, as a psychic, the best genie is gonna be a magic vite combination genie. Now, what does a magic vite combination genie give you? It gives you super high recharge speed from the magic, and vitality means you have lots of recharge and lots of energy so that you can try to use more than one skill at once. Now, chaining certain skills together can be really helpful and sometimes cost you less affinities and things like that. So when it comes to a magic vite genie, as you can see here, the discipline and the zeal have 15 vite and 5 magic, or 15 magic and 5 vite. Now, since you're going to be raising both, it really doesn't matter which you get, a zeal or a discipline, unless you're thinking of saying, okay, I want like 60 magic, 60 vite, and then I'm going to put the rest into like dex or strength. If you're going to do that, look and choose the one that's not 3. Zeal is the most common because of the lure skill, but yeah, I would recommend for psychics discipline or zeal, and you want to build it magic. Now, when it comes to lucky points are over here. Obviously, having a 91 plus genie gives you 8 genie skills, which is a lot of genie skills, and having that many skills is great, but I'd say for endgame PvP, anything 81 plus is going to be good. And then when you go to gear it, you want to get Warsong Metal Gear, not Warsong Emblem, Warsong Metal Gear. If you have questions about that, let me know. But obviously, for the build I'm describing, you want to get the Warsong Metal items. It takes 3 Warsong Metals to get each item. They give plus 4 vite, plus 4 magic. Get 4 of those, you're going to get 16 magic, 16 vite, and that's just how you want to gear your genie. And I say 81 plus because the lucky points are also points you can add into the attributes, so the more lucky points, the higher you can add into it, so you can have more magic and more vite, and at the same time, you want to have 7 skills, ideally. Now, genie skills. Alright, genie skills. The skills that I choose on my psychic, I have 2 different genie builds. The first one is it's like my all-purpose, it's my TW genie, I use it in PvE, but only for the Holy Pass. I use it pretty much all the time. The other genie is like a super situational genie. I pull it out for specific things. So I'm going to talk about my main genie first. I use an 84 lucky point with best gear, and it has 100 magic and like 100 magic and like 85 vitality or something, fully decked out. So that's 185 energy available, and at the same time I get 3 recharge per second, which is pretty decent. Skill build on that is I use Absolute Domain, Cloud Erupt, Expel are the advanced skills, and then I put Holy Path, Fortify, Extreme Poison, and will surge. Now, when you're making your genie, you have to be aware of the affinities, and I've had people say, like, wait a minute, how can you have that skill on your genie and whatever? It turns out your character's level plays a big difference, because, say, if you look here, this is you can just Google PWI Genie Affinity Calculator or something like that, you'll get this really easily. Anyways, say you've got a level 100 genie, it has 21 free affinities. Now, if I were to put Cloud Erupt, Absolute Domain, and Expel, you're like, wait a minute, you can't have Will Surge, Fortify, and Extreme Poison, which are the other skills that I have. But if you go up to level 103, you now have, let's see here, 24 affinity points, which means I can get this, 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 and look, all of these. Bam. I think I have, oh right, Holy Path. Bam. Nah, wait, yeah. Am I missing a skill? Oh, I didn't put in lucky points. Anyways, so if you're not level 103, I would suggest grinding it out. It's doable even without glitching or anything. Like, getting to 103 is something you can do. Lots of FF and PV, but it's doable. And it gives you the affinities you need to get the genie build that I use. So yeah, my genie build, I chose these skills. Absolute Domain, it makes you immune to all damage and stuns for about 5 seconds. Something like that. And the reason, this is like your Save Me From Anything skill. You throw it down, you're immune to magic and physical damage, and nobody can stun you. The one thing I don't like about Absolute Domain is its duration is only 5 seconds. And if you get CC'd by somebody, or something, or some buddies, like you're getting ganked, like 5 seconds, like, alright, say you get stunned, and then you AD, and somebody HFs, and then you come out unstunned, and your AD is pretty much gone by the time you're unstunned. And so all you did is negate the damage while you're stunned, and then you can immediately get re-CC'd afterwards. So it's great to save you from, like, oh shoot, magic damage, AD, and then, you know, it saves you till the end of your charm tick or something. But it is a little bit limited, so be aware of its duration, and you really need to use it very careful on when you use it. It has a long cooldown, so be aware of that, and its energy requirement is pretty high too, so just be aware of that. Cloud Erupt is a great skill for Sage Size. It basically gives you mad amounts of chi. Even at level 1, it's already giving you over 1 spark. 1 spark is all you need to get a head up on, you know, somebody, and I use that in TW all the time. Expel is, of course, the anti-sin skill. Makes you physically immune 9 seconds, but it seals you. There's ways around that with the Purify Expel combination, but that's why I have it. It's pretty much only for fighting sins. I use it against BMs when they HF, since like Demon HF is 9 seconds. If they HF and I Expel, they're useless. Their HF is wasted, and it only costs like 126 energy or something like that, so it's not bad. Holy Path is a skill I refuse to make a genie without. It does, I'll show you on my other genie build why it's kind of annoying to have Holy Path, but if you don't have Holy Path, you have no way to run on a Psychic. That sucks. Don't do that to yourself. Put Holy Path on the genie, okay? Just do it. If you really don't want Holy Path, well, on this genie build, the affinities are built in, since I have all the other skills, so it's okay. On the other genie build, it's a lot more important, but you gotta have it. Anyways, Extreme Poison is a skill that I have, but I really don't use that much. It's just that there's not anything else I really want more, so I put it on. It just gives you an increase in damage on the target. So yeah, I'm not going to say much about that. Fortify, on the other hand, is a skill I love. It makes you immune to stuns, so you just press it, and then the next, if somebody tries to stun you when you've used it, then it fails. Great against BMs, awesome if you can predict it against sins, good against barbs. It also blocks Occult Ice, which is this skill which like freezes a target, but Fortify will prevent that. So you can really use it great. It's only like 55 energy or something, so it's really cheap. That's at level 1, of course. And just having that immunity to stun can, you know, it breaks up a BM's combo. It makes a sin have to waste more chi trying to CC you. It's just, it's a must-have. You do want to be careful. It does decrease your magic defense, and it can be pretty bad. So be careful of that. Don't use it at the wrong time, basically. And the last one is Will Surge, which makes you immune to getting sealed by like psychics and stuff. Like, since everybody these days has a psychic buffer, everybody has Soul of Silence, and then it's like, ugh. So to kill them, you really gotta have Will Surge. And then also, you know, if you pop it at the right time, you can stop a wizard from CCing you, which is, you know, great. So that's my main Genie build. I use the AD in like absolute panics when I'm getting hit by tons of different DD and I can't just physically immune it. Expel is when I'm getting hit by tons of physical DD and I just need to get out of there and, well, take it. Cloud Erupt for Chi, Holy Path for moving, Fortify and all that. And with my recharge rate, like, I can Expel when a Sin jumps me. If I get away, I can Psychic Will. By the end of that Psychic Will, my Genie's almost ready to Expel again, and that gives you like approximately 28 seconds physical immune with a little bit of gap time between, just so you don't accidentally screw yourself over. That's what's nice about the high magic, high vite build. Now people say, oh, what about a dex build or a strength build? Well, dex build and strength builds really benefit certain skills. For example, Occult Ice here, it says every 2 strength points increases the success rate by 1%. Now, as a psychic, I really don't use Occult Ice, because you can't use it when you're stunned, so you can't use it to defend yourself, and I've got plenty of seals and stuff that I don't need to offensively CC people that much. I could use it and be really mean and like chain stuff better, but it requires like 90 to 100 strength to get like 90+% success rate, which means it can still fail if you have that much strength bumped into your Genie. And if you have that much strength in your Genie, you can't have as much recharge and you can't have as much Vite, which means you can use your Occult Ice maybe a few times and then your Genie has to recharge longer. I would prefer to have a Genie that has the ability to use tons of skills a lot, because I've got enough Vite to chain them together and it recharges fast. The other thing, so strength build Genie, it's good for other classes, but not psychics. So out of the skills that I use, strength benefits Absolute Domain. Cloud Eruption. I'm kind of tired. But for every 2 strength points, you gain 1 extra chi. But like, say I put 50 in, I'm gonna get 25 extra chi. 25 extra chi is less than 1/4 of a spark. It's really not that big a difference. It's not worth it, in my opinion. So getting strength out of that, no help. Expel, it takes 40 dex before you can even get 1 second duration increase. And you know, sometimes I don't like being sealed for 10 seconds, so no point in adding dex for Expel. Duration on Extreme Poison is not needed. It's nice, but it's not needed. And then this one here. 30 dexterity points increases duration by 1 second. This is the only one that I would consider putting dex in for, but at the same time, having to put 30 in just to get 1 second, it's not worth it. Just learn how to time your fortifies better. And then this one, strength reduces energy cost, but only 1 energy cost per 5, so if I had to put in 40 strength, I'd only lose 8 energy cost or something like that, and then it would still cost me 72. Not a big difference. So again, the skills that I chose them because I need those skills, and the points I added are because it works best on a psychic. Now, the other Genie build I use is the Belief Faith Genie. The name's gotten changed around, but Faith is a skill that instantly purifies almost everything in the game. There's like 3 things it doesn't purify. But it purifies it, and then for 5 seconds, it's like eternally purified. Like, nothing can affect you for that time. And the few things that it can't purify, it can block if you use it beforehand. So it's a really useful skill. And if you're getting hit by like 30 people, like, alright, you got a BM stunning you, you got a Sin trying to CC you, you got people using Occult Ice on you, you can just believe and walk away. Because like, nothing can CC you when you use it. It's an awesome skill. But it screws your affinities over, because as you can see, it requires 7 wood, 7 fire, which is like, oh my gosh, that sucks. Because as you can see, immediately, it blacked out Absolute Domain, Cloud Erupt, and Expel. Now, say you're one of the lucky people who is 105. Aha, now we got AD, Cloud Erupt, and Expel back. The problem is, if you put Holy Path on, bam, you lose Expel. And really, like, if you have Belief can get you out of situations, everything except for Assassins it'll save you from, because Assassins, what you need to save yourself from is their straight up DPS. Their CC is annoying, but it's the DPS that's going to kill you in the end. Alright, if you're fighting a Blade Master, they're counting on stun lock and then going from stun lock into maybe an HF combo or something. So if you just belief when they HF and then Psychic Will, you're pretty much safe, and because they're not APS damage like Sins, you have time to use Psychic Will immediately after beliefing before you get killed by a 5.0 person who has Goth crits. Now, the problem is you need Expel and Belief on the same genie, which is doable, but you lose Holy Path, and this is why I was telling you, it's all a matter of, your affinities, and so even at the max level, you have to sacrifice something. So what I did, since I'm 104, I just got 104, my genie's 103 anyways, I said, okay, I can't have any of these fancy skills here. I'll take Belief, I'll take my Holy Path, and we'll put this at 103, and then I said, well, then I can also make myself immune to silencing, immune to stuns, I can pick up extreme poison if I want to, and then this leaves one, on my genie, it's a 71 plus range, so I have one extra skill slot, and what I do is I tailor it to whatever I'm fighting. Sometimes I want this, sometimes I want that, so what I do is, say I'm fighting a cleric. If I'm fighting a cleric, I'm not worried about their DD. I'm worried about their sleep, breaking my combos or something like that. So I can switch my genie to Adrenaline Surge, immune to sleep. Then I've got immune to seal, stun, and sleep. It's like, ha ha, you can't do anything. Plus, I can wake myself up from sleep using Belief Faith, which is awesome. But say I'm fighting a Vino. Vinos can't sleep you. Why bother with that? I'm going to pick up something that's going to help me. Now, Belief can actually block Purge if you hit it before. But at the same time, a Vino is counting on purging you and then trying to DD you. So, if I put on Immune to Wood, there is nothing a Vino can do other than try to do physical damage via her pet, which is like a 2-shot, meaning it's like an instant self-save. It's only 80 energy cost. I've got the affinities I need for it. Vino taken care of. It also prevents a Barb from stunning me through physical immunes. Another great thing. But say I'm not fighting a Vino or a Barb, I am fighting somebody who has a Wizard buff. So they have water damage on their weapon, or it's a Sin who has Condensed Thorn. I can put Oxygen Bubble on, get immune to water damage, and then when I physically immune using Psychic Will, they can't stun me, because I've got anti-stun, I've got anti-water damage. If I see them, if like, I'm stunned and I Expel, and a Sin uses Condensed Thorn, I can immediately hit Oxygen Bubble, and then their next CC skill fails. Actually, all their CC skills fail, except that I don't have Expel, so that would have to be done with Psychic Will, but you get the idea. The other thing, there is fire immunity. I believe it's this one. Yeah, if you're fighting an archer, if you're physically immune and immune to fire, an archer can't purge you. Awesome thing to know. So yeah, that last skill that I have available, I tailor it to whatever I need. The one I have on for most of the time is Wood because of Barbs and Vinos. If I was 1v1ing a class with a Wizard buff, I would do that. If I was 1v1ing a Sin, I would probably pick up that. Cleric, that, whatever. That's just how it is. So, those are my 2 genie builds. The only difference, I guess, from the second one is the Belief skill, and basically, you use it when you're getting Mega CC'd, it allows you to kite because you can always use Belief and Psychic Will. What happens if you do that? First, you're not debuffed at all. It doesn't matter if you're HF'd, Magic debuffed, and, amped and all that, like you Faith, there's no debuffs on you. You use Psychic Will, you're immune to physical damage, and so the only thing that's going to hit you when you do Faith Psychic Will is magic attacks. Now, getting one-shotted by a magic attack as an Archaean class is not too common. Like, if a wizard's DDing me, they'd have to get a really high crit, and usually they only one-shot me with Blade Tempest, which is physical damage, which if they tried I would be immune to. So, you want to use Faith into Psychic Will, to get the heck out of wherever you're standing because everybody's trying to kill you. That's how I use it. It can also be used to wake up from cleric sleeps, things like that. It's just a really handy skill, but be aware, high Vite cost and long cooldown, 1 minute cooldown. So you have to have a genie with the recharge, again, another reason for the magic Vite. You have to have the Vite just to have the skill because it requires 160 to use. And then you want to make sure that after a minute you have 160 ready again so that you can purify again. But basically you have to be very careful. This kind of genie works better on super well geared players because it only works if you're able to tank, because once you use it and then you use Psychic Will, 10 seconds later you're vulnerable to everything again and your genie has nothing that it can do to save you except use some of the lower skills like Fortify. So you gotta be careful and use it at the right times. Those are my 2 genies. This is a really long video. I apologize for that. Any questions you have, let me know. Other classes, any advice, I'm willing to talk about it. Hope you enjoyed it.